Let's spotlight those mega cap tech names. We've had obviously a sell-off in 2022, and I want to take a look at this group here. It's been beaten down. Matt Maley's with us, Managing Director, Chief Market Strategist with Miller Tabak and Company, as well as the founder of the Maley Report. Good to see you, Matt. Thanks so much for being here with us. I want to talk about some of these FANG names, but first, give me your big picture on the market. You know, is this a correction? Are we in a bear market? Is this the dead cat bounce, the bear market rally? I mean, it's getting a little tiresome, isn't it?
It is, and I'm afraid this bounce, although a nice one, is probably more of a say a dead cat bounce, but a bear market rally. I just think that the biggest thing I'm really concerned about is what we've heard recently from some of these companies, not just in the retailing area like Walmart and Target, but also in other companies like John Deere and really quite a few others, talking about their margins and how they're coming down. This means that margins come down, earnings have to come down, and we've had these GDP numbers cut in half in the last 6 to 8 months, and yet the S&P 500 earnings estimates haven't come down at all. They're going to start coming down. I think that takes us lower. So it's going to be a tough time, but I do think that we have some great stocks that are the stocks of great companies that have already come down quite a bit that we can start nibbling on and buy them over time and really build a nice base for the next big rally phase that hopefully just starts sometime next year.
Well, that's the whole idea. As you know, if we're really uncertain where we are right now, if you can pick up some names, I guess, at a lower price, that may seem attractive, but that's not to say they may not go even lower. So what's the strategy?
Yeah, exactly. I think the strategy we want to be is just kind of pick our way. Is start buying it now. I mean, you have the three stocks I really like are Facebook or Meta, Amazon, and Google. And these are, they're three great companies. Their stocks got ahead of themselves. There's a difference between a stock and a company and a stock. And they just got ahead of themselves. So they were bad stocks for a while, but they've come down quite a bit. And I can talk about each one specifically, but overall, what I want to do here is start buying these names and put some money in every month, really between now and the end of the year. Now, that doesn't mean, please, let's buy a lot each month so we have a really big position at the end of the year. I'm thinking more like, let's kind of pick away at each one, and that creates a real nice base. And so if and when we get a big washout in the market, then we can get more aggressive. But either way, by the end of the year, we'll have a real nice balance to real nice positions that will do very, very well over the next 5 to 10 years.
Right, understood. So let's talk about some of the names here. Facebook, Amazon, Google. I don't see Netflix. I don't see Apple there. Tell me about why those names and what the strategy is.
Well, I certainly like Apple. It just hasn't come down as much. Netflix is a great company. It's not like they're going to go out of business, but they have some headwinds, some serious headwinds that they're still going to look at. But you look at Amazon. I mean, the stock's down. It's down over 40%. But the thing is, it's becoming much cheaper. I don't look at the P/E ratio on that as much as I look at price to sales. It's down to 17.4 times sales. That is really right in line for what they have on a long-term basis for what have been kind of fair valued, number one. And number two, they've gone through one of these big investment cycles that they've done in the past. And usually they don't care about where their stock goes for a little while, and then the stock really breaks out. I think that will happen, but of course, because of the pandemic and the China lockdown, this has been delayed for a little while. But as we come out of this thing, next year, I think they've really set themselves up to be in great shape. And you mentioned Meta, Facebook. Again, and here's a stock that's down over 50%. But it's now trading at 14 times earnings. So that's getting much cheaper. And I think Mr. Zuckerberg has done the right thing. He knew, hey, this is going to be a tough year for us anyway, with all these politicians, painting a target on our back and to go after us in this election year. Why don't we just take these issues and throw the kitchen sink? Let's get all the bad news out there and rebuild for what they're doing. And so I think, again, that's another great long-term play. And then finally, is of course Google. Again, another one is trading at 17 times earnings now. It's come down. They haven't yet been able to make money in the cloud business, but the cloud business isn't going anywhere. And you can't. Google does everything well eventually, and I think they're going to do very well in the cloud business as well. So again, these three ones are ones we can buy over time, and then when the next big bull market kicks in, you'll have a really nice position in these names. It'll be 3, 5, 10 years out, and you'll be able to ride them for many years.
As you say that you got to get in on these names, Meta, Amazon, and Google now, right? Not next week, or because if they've already, we've already had a winning week, right?
Right, I think, but again, you want to just pick away at them because the market's there's still a lot of uncertainty out there, and it could go anywhere over the next 6 months. If you average in over the next 6 months, and then especially if we get in the fall, those fall months always seem to be the time, September, October, when we get that big kind of washout move, the big capitulation, then you can get more aggressive. But you're sitting there 6, 7 months from now, and you've bought it each month, just a little bit, but don't wait. You're never going to catch that exact falling knife. Buy it each month, a little bit at a time. If you do get the big washout move, then you can get more aggressive. But you're sitting there, in the beginning of 2023, January and February, with a nice position in those names. You're really going to like where it comes in the long run, because if you're trying to guess that exact bottom, it's just too tough. And professionals can't do it. So for individuals, it's that much harder.
Right, understood. Matt Maley, thank you. Always good to see you. Ameritrade Network and Company, thank you, of the Maley report as well. Nice to see you. Thanks. Have a great weekend.
Have a good weekend.